This episode of Anxiety Slayer is sponsored by Organifi. Organifi creates superfood blends that offer plant-based nutrition made with high-quality ingredients. Each Organifi blend is science-backed to craft the most effective doses with ingredients that are organic and free of fillers and contain less than 3 grams of sugar per serving. Go to Organifi.com/Slayer and use the code SLAYER for 20% off your order. That's Organifi.com/Slayer and use the code SLAYER for 20% off any item. Welcome back to the Anxiety Slayer podcast. I'm Shan Vanderleek here with my wonderful friend and co-host Ananga Sivir. This week we're sharing simple tips to help you calm anxiety and improve your sleep. Hello, Ananga.
Hey, Shan.
It's good to be back with you this week to talk about getting a good night's rest and how tapping and some other suggestions we have can help our listeners do just that.
Yeah, we've had a couple of requests in the last week about help with sleep, so good time to do it.
Let's begin by talking about how you can feel anxious, tired, and wired all at the same time, right when it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, what a wonderful combination that is. That feeling when we know it's time for rest, we need to rest, and the anxious mind can be feeling unsettled just about the quiet time that comes when you settle down to sleep. The anxious mind can crowd in on that, or it has a tendency to fling itself back through the day and pick things apart and go over and over conversations, interactions, things we think we didn't do well, or throw itself forward into tomorrow, something we're worried about, or even further ahead of time, something that's playing on our mind. And often we just have that churning mind, and there's an energy in the mind that's whirring away that's really preventing us from settling down and sleeping.
There are a number of things that you can avoid that can spoil your sleep. And if you were guessing, I bet you would guess at the top of our list is caffeine. Coffee, energy drinks, soda, anything that has caffeine in it. It seems like we have become a bit of a society who is addicted to caffeine or who uses caffeine as a crutch. And for more than just, coffee in the morning, we're seeing coffee in the afternoon, coffee in the evening, energy drinks throughout the day and all of that. And by the time you get to bedtime, wow, that can really affect a good night's rest.
Yeah, coffee or caffeine is a tired but wired substance. We often use it when we feel tired and just need to get a boost to get through the day. But what we often forget with caffeine is that it's accumulative. It takes a long, long time to get out of our system. So if you have a coffee at 8 a.m., the caffeine is still in your body. If you have another one at 12 and if you have another one at 4, that 8 a.m. caffeine is still there. So it accumulates throughout the day and it stays in our system for such a long time that it's quite surprising. We might go to sleep and think, well, I haven't had coffee for several hours, but it could still be affecting our sleep.
Eating late and eating heavy meals in the evening is also a culprit, as is working late. And the working late piece I can really identify with because I used to be more of a night owl and I would get this second or third wind and creative inspiration and start working late. And then, of course, that would affect my sleep. Now I try to just eliminate screen time and work. Let's say I have an idea for the podcast or something that I want to create. I'll just jot it down so that I don't forget it, put it aside so that I don't work late. And then as far as eating late and heavy meals in the evening, it's just not a very kind choice for your body because our bodies have to digest all of that. And it makes it much more difficult to sleep because it's working so hard to digest that heavy meal.
Yeah, the recommendation with Ayurveda for health as well as being able to sleep peacefully is to eat your big meal in the middle of the day. and eat lighter in the evening if you can, and earlier if you can. And take a walk, take a short walk after eating so the body's got that activity, that active energy to burn the food off. Otherwise, if we lay down with a full stomach, the body goes into digestion mode and it's occupied with that. And it's another kind of wired situation. It's a disturbance to getting off to sleep.
And it can also cause other issues like heartburn and stomach upset and all that kind of stuff if you're just going from eating a meal to horizontal. The other thing that many of us do is we like to watch television or movies or Netflix or whatever on our laptops or screens in the evening, and often do so from our beds or do so right before bed. And if you're watching something that's extremely violent or is extremely dramatic or has your emotions all over the place or is scary or whatever, that's not very helpful for a good night's rest. So if you are going to be watching something, try and give yourself at least an hour between that screen time and sleep time to work that out. One of the recommendations I have, unwinding in a hot bath or a hot shower or maybe meditation, something that's just going to really make you feel calm and relaxed. Watch the show and then get yourself calm and relaxed and then climb into bed, right?
Yeah, I'll skip the show if you can. Just give your mind as
Yeah, true.
much of a break as possible. But yeah, warm baths can help calm anxiety and help us sleep, particularly if you use some lavender oil and just allow yourself to settle your mind and make the environment as restful and appealing to you as you can.
And make sure that your bed is as appealing and comfortable as you can as well. Make sure you have plenty of pillows and blankets. We spend so much time in our beds, and you deserve to be in a comfortable bed. Other things that we like to share that can help you get to sleep: warm milk with a pinch of nutmeg. We both like nut milks, whether that be almond milk or I found some macadamia nut milk that I'm really enjoying, but almond milk is incredibly helpful. We like to put a pinch of nutmeg in there. Massaging your feet before getting into bed is helpful, which is really nice if you have a good sesame oil that you have, and be sure to put socks on to protect the floors and your bedding. But massaging your feet gets that energy from your head down to your feet. Really, really nice. I do that quite a bit, especially in the winter. And then, of course, last but not least, our recommendation for guided relaxations. And Ananga and I created a sleep album a few years back that we've had a lot of favorable reviews with. So you can check that out if you are a patron of ours or if you want to become one and you go to our Patreon, you'll see that our sleep album is available there. And there's some beautiful tracks, both with spoken words and without, with Ananga's beautiful music.
I think guided relaxation is a real gift when we're trying to sleep because it preoccupies the mind and leads the mind into a more restful state. It's very hard to do it for yourself when the mind's worrying and you've got anxious thoughts and you're ruminating or regretting or whatever else the mind is drudging up just when we need to settle down and be peaceful. We can get into mental arguments with ourselves, trying to settle that, and it just increases the disturbance in the mind further. So being able to listen to something where you're guided into a more relaxed state and the mind has something else to listen to and to engage in is really helpful, really effective.
I think it's also important to bring up that just because you're exhausted doesn't mean that you'll climb into bed and fall asleep. That's a common misconception that, oh, if we're just tired enough, it'll happen. We'll just pass out. Yet thousands of people fall into bed exhausted after working a full day every night and then lay there wide awake for hours, worrying, ruminating, whatever it is, that almost like as soon as their head hits the pillow, that's the on switch instead of the off switch. which is why it's incredibly valuable to create an evening routine for peaceful sleep.
It's like gardening for the mind, preparing the state that you need and nurturing that state you need to sleep well.
Many people believe that alcohol is helpful to get to sleep. But the truth is, alcohol negatively affects the mind and nervous system and can cause many people to wake up feeling disturbed in the middle of the night. So you might fall asleep easier, but chances are you're not staying asleep. And I've had that experience where I wake up and just feel so anxious, like somebody plugged me in, plugged my nervous system and said, "Okay, you're awake now," and everything's just kind of racing. So that's something that be mindful of that if you're drinking alcohol. Having a warm drink like we mentioned earlier, chamomile tea or warm milk is a much better choice than alcohol. And if you are out drinking alcohol in the evening, make sure that you get plenty of water, plenty of hydration before you go to bed so that you can kind of counteract some of that. Because what we know is that alcohol can really affect that deeper stage of sleep, that REM sleep that is so essential for feeling rested. We've already mentioned television, computers, video games we didn't mention earlier. We did talk about watching programming or movies, but video games as well are very stimulating to the nervous system. So be mindful of that and unplug from the game at the same time that you're unplugging from any movies or television shows that are highly dramatic.
Yeah, many video games are really addictive and they're designed to keep engagement high. So you just think, oh, just do 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. And then before you know, so much time has passed and they can really elevate your heart rate.
Unplug and allow yourself the time that you need to unplug and unwind. And after the break, we're going to walk you through a guided tapping session for sleep. I've been including superfoods in my diet for many years, and I just found a new product that I absolutely love. Organifi is a line of organic superfood blends that offers plant based nutrition made with the highest quality of ingredients. Their green juice is one of my favorites and contains essential superfoods and a clinical dose of ashwagandha, which helps reduce stress and supports healthy cortisol levels, which is really important to me. I've been putting it in my smoothies, I've been mixing it in a glass of water, and it really does taste good, which is quite helpful. I also found that I like Organifi Gold in the evenings. It's a superfood tea that supports rest and relaxation so you can wake up feeling refreshed. Each Organifi blend is easy to use by simply mixing it with water or your favorite beverage while you're on the go. Every blend I've tried tastes awesome. Organifi takes pride in offering the best tasting superfood products on the market, and it's at a price that works out to less than $3 a day. You can experience Organifi's high quality superfoods without spending a lot of money. Go to Organifi.com/Slayer and use the code Slayer for 20% off your order. That's Organifi.com/Slayer and use the code Slayer for 20% off any item. One of the best ways that you can calm anxiety and get to sleep is by tapping. And so we thought we would give you the gift of a guided tapping session today to help you get a good night's sleep. To get the best results from this tapping session, repeat Ananga's words along with her.
Tapping's a really good way, an effective way of calming the mind before sleep and calming all those looping thoughts and just helping us relax down and get the best out of the time for resting. So you can try this with us now as you're listening to the podcast, but I also recommend trying it sitting on or in your bed at the end of the day, using it to relax yourself into sleep. Get yourself ready for bed and right there so that at the end of tapping, you're ready to close your eyes and get the rest you need. So we start tapping on the side of the hand. You can find the tapping points on our website if you're not familiar with them at anxietyslayer.com/EFT. So just tapping on the side of the hand point and repeating after me. Even though I'm worried about not being able to sleep, I accept myself. Even though I feel too anxious to sleep, I accept myself. Even though I have all these thoughts rushing around in my head, I accept myself. And now we're going to move on to tapping through the points. So we're starting tapping on the top of the head and repeating after me. Too anxious to sleep. And tapping at the beginning of the eyebrow, all these worrying thoughts. And tapping at the outside of the eye, I can't relax. Under the eye, I know I need to sleep. Under the nose, but I'm so worried I'll be awake all night. I'm tapping on the chin, I'm worried about being tired tomorrow. And tapping on the collarbone, I find it hard to relax when I feel anxious. And then patting on the underarm point, all this anxiety keeping me awake. Coming back up to the top of the head, all these anxious thoughts. And the eyebrow point, all this tension in my body. Side of the eye, all these anxious thoughts. Under the eye, all this tension in my body. Under the nose, I want to relax. Center of the chin, I want to sleep peacefully. Collarbone, I'm open to relaxing. Under the arm, I encourage myself to rest. And take a deep breath in and release it in a long, slow exhalation as you stretch your arms. And feel yourself on the surface that's supporting you. Feel nice and grounded. If you're sitting on your bed, feel the support of the bed or feel your feet on the floor. And know that right here, right now, in this moment, you're safe. Let's take another deep breath and just feel settled in this moment where you are. And then we'll start tapping again. Back up to tapping on the top of the head. I release anxiety from my mind. The eyebrow, I release tension from my body. Side of the eye, I release anxiety from my mind. Under the eye, I release tension from my body. Under the nose, I release anxiety from my mind. Center of the chin, I've done my best for today. Collarbone, I allow myself to settle and rest. And underarm, I'm open to receiving the sleep I need. Take another deep breath and stretch as you breathe out. Nice big stretch. Another deep breath, dropping your shoulders, relaxing your jaw. Imagine any tension and anxiety sliding away from your body, melting away as you settle down more and more into the surface that's supporting you. And we'll tap again for a couple more minutes. Top of the head, I let my thoughts float by. Eyebrow, I release anxiety from my mind. Side of the eye, I release tension from my body. Under the eye, everything can wait until tomorrow. Under the nose, today I've done my best. Center of the chin, and now I allow myself to rest. Collarbone, I release anxiety from my mind. And under the arm, I relax tension in my body. And if you feel that you need a little more time tapping, just rewind and repeat until you feel really ready for sleep.
Oh, that was wonderful, Ananga. I have to say, I was tapping along and very relaxed now, even more so than I was before. Really appreciate you and that beautiful session. Thank you. Thanks for listening to Anxiety Slayer. We invite you to come back next week for an interview with V. Lockard of the Snoozecast podcast. You're going to want to listen in if you have issues getting to sleep. If you want to dive deeper into this topic, you're welcome to continue on our Patreon, where Ananga has so kindly taken that tapping session even further for you with a few more rounds of tapping that you are going to find so incredibly supportive. You can also get access to sleep, guided relaxations for a good night's sleep, as well as over 100 downloads for supporting our show. You can learn more about becoming a patron at patreon.com/anxietyslayer.